Hey Brawlers, welcome to the Brawling Pit. We talk about all things casual and kitchen table magic like Brawl and EDH. You are listening to episode 30. I am Johnathan, and he is Jacob.
Howdy, fella.
Howdy.
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 I'm wearing a 10-gallon hat.
Sure.
Yeah,
Why?
'cause.
Okay.
Yep. So, Johnathan,
Hi.
that was quite a different introduction than what I was expecting. What happened?
Well, we have decided to expand out our scope a little bit to go beyond Brawl because while Brawl is a very interesting topic, it's a format that has a lot of attention still, and people still like to build their own decks and play with their own playgroup. We've decided that we will be able to talk about more about Magic if we expand out our scope to include other casual formats beyond Brawl.
And as I understand, we'll still be doing a lot of Brawl. That's not going away. We're just including
no.
new things too.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to stop talking about Brawl. It's still the core of our podcast. It's still part of our name. However, we want to, start talking about things beyond Brawl. So, for example, today, we will be talking about 5 things to do with your playgroup. The 4th one will surprise you.
So basically what you're saying is nothing changes, because we already talked about a lot of things that are in Brawl anyways. Just incidentally.
Incidentally, yeah, like we've decided to we're starting to actually embrace our tangents. Because we have so many tangents every single episode, we just keep talking about oh this card is so good in modern and whatnot. Like, and people are they're like, you're not really talking about Brawl right now. You're talking about modern. You spend like 10 minutes. I'm like, well, all right, we're doing it now.
We're doing it now. It's official.
Yeah, now people can give us can't give us crap about talking about modern.
Yeah, and now they're not tangents. Now they're just parts of the episode.
Yeah, now they're just part of the episode. So.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, it sounds like for the most part, not much is going to be changing, except we might have a little more creative freedom in that regard. But I think a lot of this is going to be really similar.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like I said, today 5 things to do with your playgroup. And Jacob, what is a playgroup?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
No, I'm not sure. Is that like your traveling band of brothers that you like get in the car with and go to tournaments with?
No, that's a team.
Oh, I don't know. What's a playgroup then? Enlighten me.
A playgroup is a group of people who sit down together and they decided to do something they have in common. In our context, it's going to be Magic.
What if they want to play D&D?
Then you play D&D. You can have a D&D playgroup.
Hey, wait. Fine. So while we're on the topic of expansion, can we also expand to D&D?
No. I think that's like way too much.
They're a Wizards of the Coast product!
Yeah, but I'm going to say no. Let's not talk about D&D.
Always shooting me down. See, this is what happened, you guys. You might not know this, but I like give him a lot of ideas and like no, and it feels really bad.
See, I say yes to his good ideas. There are lines between good ideas and not ideas, and I decided to go with the good ideas, and the not ideas I just put them in a box somewhere in the corner.
Yeah, and the line between those ideas are if it comes from me or you, right? No, I'm kidding.
No, that's not it. We're just not gonna do D&Ds.
All right, fair enough. It's just banter. So why don't we kick off with the 5th thing that we like to do with playgroups? Because I don't know what a playgroup is.
You don't know what a playgroup is still?
No. I mean, like, this is the first I've heard of it. Like. So why don't you give me an idea of what you do, the 5 things you can do with your playgroup? Like what's one of them?
Well, sure. There are many different things you can do with playgroup. Like, a lot of times people just sit down and they just play with their decks, and that can be one thing you're doing. But that's kind of like a little bit too easy. We don't want the easy way out, right? We want to have something more formalized so you can actually present to your playgroup. Hey, let's do this one thing. And thing number 1 is Chaos Draft.
Wait, like it's the same Chaos Draft. You're just doing it with the same group of people that you play Magic with otherwise, right?
Yeah, you just play with the people you know, and the best thing about it is if your playgroup on average wins more than they lose in a regular draft, they would have accumulated a lot of packs. And those packs, you don't need to open them. You just save them. Everyone saved their pack. And one night, everyone brings 3 packs from random sets, and you just draft those packs. You get to open packs for the value of drafting. And you get to have fun because Chaos Draft, listen to me, it's a very fun format. I play Chaos Draft whenever I can.
I love Chaos Draft. So, what kind of house rules do you usually impose on the Chaos Draft? Like, do you limit certain sets or certain blocks? What do you do?
There are usually no limit in my playgroup. You really can bring whatever you want, but I do like to remind people what kind of sets are kind of off-putting for the rest of the group. So you don't want to bring sets with mechanics that are too parasitic. And what do I mean by parasitic mechanics? Mechanics that are contained within the set itself. So for example, the ally triggers from the Syndicate blocks, those are very parasitic because it cares about allies entering the battlefield, and the ally creature type only exists in the Syndicate sets and nowhere else.
All right,
So,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I am that guy that brings banding.
Banding is fine though, because banding is not parasitic, and
It is not, but it's like almost nobody ever knows how banding works. So you get to explain it 8 times.
Yeah, that's fine. I have a banding commander deck.
Wow, I think you should be banned for that.
No,
You see what I did there?
I definitely see what you did there. I think telling a joke is like dissecting a frog, and the moment you cut into the frog, it's dead. I think you shouldn't go in there.
No, but dissecting frogs is fun. It's true. That's like
Okay.
the new meta style of humor today.
Okay.
Mhm.
Also, I encourage people to try to bring sets with 15 cards inside. If you're bringing a 8-card pack, maybe bring 2 instead of 1. Because that's going to introduce some confusion amongst the table. Like if you're opening your Fallen Empire, which only has 8 cards per pack, it's gonna be really hard for you to for that to go through the entire table, and all of a sudden, I can't pass anything to you because that pack only has 8 cards.
Bring antiquities.
Yes, definitely. You should open your Ursa's Legacy. Do it all day.
Yeah, bring antiquities, open a Force of Will, be happy, and then pass the rest of the trash on.
I mean, yeah, and that's another thing, right? You brought up a good point. Who keeps the cards, right? And it really depends. In my playgroup, a lot of times, I provide all the packs for people to draft. But that also means I keep all the cards.
Oh, that's a good rule.
And there are times where if different people are bringing their own packs, then they can just keep their own cards that they draft. But there can be some arguments every now and then, like what happens, right, when someone brings a Modern Masters and they open a foil Goyf and a Goyf. What do you do, right? Like that's bad, right? And I allow them to just keep their own whole entire pack and just give them random pack, and that's fine. It all depends on the person who hosts their own playgroup. Whatever the host wants, like you the rule.
Yeah, I think usually we just do the rule where it's like just whatever you draft you keep. And I think now that I remember, we told everybody if you're bringing an expensive pack, you should bring like a backup pack. Because if you open a pack and there's like really good money and you want to keep it, just open your second pack and use that one instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, we just followed like the whatever you draft you keep. So that way, there wasn't any arguments, and
Yeah, and having no arguments is one way to foster a good playgroup.
Yeah, and I think the best way to do this is it might sound kind of dumb or cheesy, but like a lot of fostering that is just like preventing yourself from being in a situation where it could happen. Like just preventative measures go a long way in stopping like 90% of those disputes that could happen.
Yeah, Chaos Draft.
That's really fun.
It's really fun. You get to see a lot of crazy things happening, right? Because a lot of cards usually they will never have a chance to see each other in the same draft environment, and this is exactly what you're doing. You are putting the +7/+7 trample enchantment and that infects creature together in the same set.
Oh no!
And you're the one who's doing it.
What if you put the +7/+7 enchantment on Invisible Stalker? Oh my, Unlimited. Oh no!
Then it's over.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's even better than on the infect creature. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Have fun dealing with that.
Man. I realize that a lot of our audience is they're not going to be like the GP grinder, but one thing that is cool is that every GP or almost every GP, I'm pretty sure like nearly every GP, I'm gonna say nearly every because I don't know 100%, has a chaos trap, and so when I go, I always try to do a chaos trap there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you're itching to try out like a chaos trap, maybe try it before you with your playgroup or something, or maybe your playgroup doesn't want to. Maybe look into your next local GP. You don't have to. Let's just. And I realize that most people don't go to these. Like that most of our like casual players don't. But something in the future you might want to consider.
Yeah. So the next thing you can do with your playgroup, number 2, this is actually a fun one, but this requires a little bit of work on you, the playgroup host. It's a commander/brawl league. What does that mean? It means
I don't know.
everyone.
Maybe I should ask that question.
Well, everyone is bringing their own commander and brawl decks, but you're keeping track of how often different people win. On top of that, you provide like an achievement sheet where whenever you achieve some sort of objectives, you got to check out on the achievement sheet. And at the end, however you want to organize it, but like the way my playgroup usually does it is whenever you get all check marks in one whole category, you get a pack from the playgroup. It's something like that.
This isn't my playgroup, but I actually know of a fairly sizable playgroup. They actually, I feel like it was like half the store at one point, and it's a pretty decent sized store. They had like a bingo sheet, so like of these achievements. So like it's the same achievement concept, but they made it like bingo. There was only one bingo sheet for everybody, but you still had to try and get bingo and these achievements and all that stuff. So I think one of them was really stupid. One of them was like without conceding, like die in the first like 4 turns or something.
Oh, that sounds so easy.
Without conceding?
Yeah, you cast Chance for Glory and pass turn.
Oh man. Or no, maybe it was die, like take damage and die, like reach life total 0.
I see. Yeah, because I would totally just build a deck and then turn 1 swamp, 1 with nothing, and then packs of negation my 1/2
Yeah. So that's a good idea. Yeah. No, it was like lose all your life total. I think it was like worded specifically so you couldn't just play like a lose in the game effect. But like there was you can get really creative with these achievements too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then like another one was like I think the free space was like win your table of 4. Like in the middle, like the free space was like like be the winner. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have that achievement, but it's a little bit more specific for my playgroup. Is win a table of 4 with an infect deck.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's hard. But it's difficult. I think these are like really cool. Like especially if your meta is getting like kind of stale or whatever. Like you can introduce this to like shake everything up because now you're giving people like alternative objectives that they're gonna have to play different decks to achieve.
Right.
So this can really like reinvigorate a lot of interest in it. So I think the achievement sheet is a really sweet idea.
Yeah, one thing I do want to recommend people to stay away from is like don't have an achievement that says play this commander, because you don't want to force people into playing what they don't want to play or what they don't already have the resources to. You want to be, instead of being like super specific, you want to like
keep them like open ended, so like people have multiple ways to achieve that goal.
Right, absolutely. So you can say, oh, get to 100 life. That's open ended enough where there are different ways for you to get 100 life. The easiest being play a Johnny, of course, but you don't spell that out for them.
Yeah. And with Commander, Commander being the eternal format, obviously you have a lot more like design space for achievements. But that doesn't mean you can't do this with Brawl. It just means you might have to get a little more creative and do a little extra work to make up good achievements for Brawl. But it can still be done. It can still be done.
Yeah. Yeah, Brawl can definitely be done. Like win on turn 3, so easy. Play Aurelia.
Oh man.
Probably can't, but
Yeah, I don't know. Standard's a little slow.
yeah, it Brawl is a little bit slower than Commander, surprisingly.
Just a hair.
Just a hair, maybe 2.
Maybe. I mean, you are missing Soul Ring and, you know, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, but that moves us to number 3. I want to talk about Cube. Cube is a fun format.
You're a cube.
No, I'm not a cube, and I definitely don't have Death Rattle make 2 things that I killed.
Ooh.
That's a cube. No,
That is a cube.
the cube we're talking about is a collection of cards that you curate together to be drafted. And this can actually be an entire episode on its own, I feel like. But it is really, really a lot of people describe it as like the penultimate form of Magic. Because once you have a cube, you literally anyone can play, and you literally don't need to spend any money anymore. Like you can just sit the cube there. Like you don't even need to upgrade if you don't want to.
Yeah, at that point, it's like a static board game. You know,
Right.
like you have like Monopoly. You don't need to buy extra pieces. I mean, unless you lose them, but like you don't need to buy extra pieces. Like you have everything you need. No need to invest any more time and effort developing it. You can if you want, but you don't have to. It's done.
Yeah, and there are so many ways you can take your cube. Like so for example, different themes you can apply to, right? You can just have cards you own and like. So literally just put your cube together because you have these cards. You can have a
Yeah.
power cube. Power cubes are very scary. Because you run like all the Moxons and upheaval. Oh, by the way, proxy is fine in a cube because it's not a sanctioned form.
It's not sanctioned. Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, so
Proxy it up.
you can jam your Black Lotus paper into your cube, and no one can say anything about it because it's your cube. You can for sure play different themes. So, for example, I've seen a mono blue cube.
You can
where there
even
are
make up
only blue
cards if you
cards.
want. Oh, sorry, my bad.
You can definitely make up cards. I have someone in my playgroup who constantly pump out like his custom cards, custom designs, and everyone goes into his own cube. Like we can just draft with it, all custom cards, custom design, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and the awesome thing with Cube is that you actually have a lot more creativity freedom, the creative freedom the Wizards does, because Wizards is constrained to making mechanics that are easy to understand or easy enough to understand for like a lot of players to get it without like a lot of help explaining it. Like they have to be able to explain the mechanic reasonably well on a card, right? But like you can maybe have a few more complex mechanics that might not be able to be perfectly explained in the card, but you're able to explain it in person with them because it's your cube. So, like, I mean, you should probably strive to have good mechanics that can be explained on the card, but you're there to clarify if it's on the confusing end of the spectrum. So
for sure.
you actually have a lot more freedom in that regard too.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
remember my buddy's cube. He played Cheaty Face in it. I don't think he had like a specific theme to the cube, but it was like a lot of good stuff. It was like a high power level cube. It was just, like it had Goyf, it had like Voice of Resurgence, and like it was a limited kind of format. Like you could feel like, oh yeah, this is definitely limited. But like the power level of all the cards were really high. And it had Cheaty Face too. That was my favorite.
Cheaty Face is a tough card to play. You have to hide it very well.
Yeah, I don't know how people did it, but people actually got Cheaty Face in a few times. It's really creative seeing how people did it.
Yeah.
I even built a cube.
Oh, what's your cube?
I have
I haven't seen it yet.
I had a Cons of Tarkir Pauper cube.
Oh, this was the next thing I was going to talk about, but go for it.
So it was a quote unquote Pauper, but it also had uncommons in it too, because the commons by themselves were not that much of a format. So it was it was Singleton quote unquote Pauper, common uncommon only. But the catch was so you drafted like however you wanted to. You can either do like a what was the like the 2-player draft, or you can do
The
just
Rochester.
yeah, you can do like a Rochester draft, or you can do like it worked with any draft format. And but the catch was there were no dual lands, and all players had it was like I forget what it's called, but it was like Hearthstone mana. So you had one of each dual land and unlimited
Oh,
basics on the side. You don't shuffle any lands in your deck every turn. And you draw the opening hand was, I think we said 5 cards instead of 7. And what you got to do is you got to pick a land from your pile. So you had one of each color dual, or each dual. So you had 10 duels, I think, and then unlimited basics. And that way you got to play one land every turn. And yeah, and then you just played like normal. So that was I thought that was my favorite cube format.
oh my gosh! Why haven't I seen this yet,
I don't know.
dude? I want to play it.
Yeah, I feel like it's really common with it's actually a common strategy used for competitive testing to just like because you want to reduce like variance as much as you can when you're trying to test a deck.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So and you can do like those kind of crazy things too. You can like take all the lands and say you get to play a land every turn. You can do that too with your cube. It's your cube. You can get, you don't have to. The way you design your cube to be played doesn't stop at just what cards you put in. You can do that too. You can say, well, you get to play a land every turn, and there's no lands in your cube.
Yep. Wow, that's really interesting. I really want to play that cube now. And that was sort of the next thing I want to talk about is like you can have your own creative freedom, and like you don't have to stick with Wizards rules because it's your cube and it's your game, and you don't have to
It's
listen to
your experience. Take
Wizard.
control.
Yeah, take control. But yeah, try out your own cube. It's definitely a fun experience. Number 4 though, number 4 is actually tons of fun, and this is something new, something different. It's not really quote unquote playing, but this is something that one of my playgroups has been doing every single year for the past 3 years. And this is called the Loxodon Gift Exchange.
Sounds like a white elephant thing, but I feel like that's just because Loxodons are usually elephants.
It's green white elephant.
A green white elephant exchange.
Yeah. Yeah, so we do this every holiday, near December, and the way my playgroup does it, everyone, brings something, not kind of like a gift, like that doesn't exceed the value of like 20, and then we all do like an altar. So we all alter a card, and you can commission someone to alter the card, and then we do the white elven, like the typical white elven format, where someone gets to pick, and then like someone can steal it like multiple times, like whatever you want to do, right? You can look up what white elven is, but it's really just passing all the altars around, and at the end of the day, we pass out gifts based on how many votes each altar gets, like which one is more popular, which one is the funniest, and which one's the most artistic, things like that. And I remember one year, so it's a cycle of cards, white, blue, black, red, green. Each of those has one card that's been altered, and he found ways to put a finger into the art, and he changed the name. So, for example, Force of Will, the card name of Force of Will is changed to FU, the full word, not just the letter.
I'm gonna be honest. I always get like super anxious with like these gift exchanges because I'm always like, well, what if my gift sucks, or like, what if
Well, that's
everybody
the
else
beauty
is,
of it, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the beauty of it.
I know.
It's supposed to suck. Your gift is supposed to suck. So, do what you will. The Loxodon gift exchange that my playgroup does is usually very successful, and we're trying not to have people spend too much money. So we always tell people, hey, it's okay if it sucks. Just bring something, or or not. There's all you can even just like bring a basic land and then just like draw on it. That'll
I
work.
think I think the most fun thing, the most fun kind of Lockdown gift exchange, quote unquote. If you're going with that theme, I think the most fun thing I had was we told everybody, okay, don't bring anything good. And we really mean don't bring anything good. Like bring the worst thing possible that you can think of. Like without like getting disgusting like human feces, you know,
Like
bring,
fridge magnets.
fridge mat. Like bring like the worst thing possible. And that was probably the most hilarious gift exchange I've ever been a part of. But like other than that, I'm always like worried about it. I don't know. Because because you know when the goal is to bring the worst thing possible, then like it can't get like at that point it's like the inverse problem. It's like, well, what if my gift is too good? You know?
Yeah, exactly. you don't want to be too good, right? Like, so definitely don't bring that Starbucks gift card because you know it won't be used.
Yeah, that's too good. No, Starbucks gift card's too good. It's like that's
Yeah, bring the magnet.
Bring like a used tissue box or something.
Oh, that's disgusting. I don't know. Bring like mason
Someone brought
jar.
it though. Someone brought it. It was hilarious. I mean, yeah, it was kind of gross, but it was funny. That was the point.
That's great. But yeah, the holidays coming up. This is perfect. It's actually a perfect time to tell our playgroup, hey, let's do a Lockdown gift exchange. People will have roughly a month and a half to prepare for it. So actually, like 2.5 months. So I think it's enough time for people to start digging into it, and that moves us to the fifth thing. It's theme nights.
I don't like theme nights.
Why not?
I just don't. Speaking of theme nights, I'm gonna beat you to this. Halloween's coming up.
Halloween is coming up.
So that can be your theme.
That could be a theme. Definitely. Bring candies.
I think for this Halloween, I'm probably gonna play like mono black scary stuff. So I'm gonna play like Black Cat and like Nightmare, like all those bad cards. But they're like they really stick to that Halloween theme of like scary stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just your entire deck will just be like it will just be Innistrad legal, like Innistrad block centered.
Or maybe red white. It's like vampires too in red.
That'll work too, I guess. Like, but
Yeah.
it feels like Innistrad is really strong in that meta.
Oh, it is. It is.
If you're playing scary stuff meta, like Innistrad is like number 1 or 2. I would probably rank it as Innistrad and then Dark Ascension and then Shadows over Innistrad and then Eldritch Moon. And
So
top 4s, they're all
So
they're all on the block.
everything Innistrad flavored.
Exactly.
Oh
So
man.
you'll also see a lot of hats, but that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I mean that's
Yeah.
fair.
But one theme night that's coming up in my own playgroup, coming up is Ravnica Guild Brawl event, and I have prepared 5/6 different Brawl decks for everyone who comes to play with, and then everyone just choose one of those decks, and I'll choose last, and we'll just play those decks against each other. So the way I build them is they're fairly balanced against each other. So not really. It's really hard for one deck to have an edge over another. Even though it's kind of like rock paper scissors. One deck is better than the other, but it's not. It's not like a strictly better kind of sense. Like different decks are better than some others, but there are other decks that are better than this one. So my point is, I'm trying to have like a balanced environment so everyone can just come and have fun, and they don't need to worry about, oh, my deck is not good enough because they're balanced really well, and they're balanced so well that I'm going to talk about one of those decks today for the second half of the podcast. We're talking about
what deck could you possibly have?
the deck I want to talk about is the Aurelia deck.
That is like the top 10 most unexpected thing possible that you could have said to me right there.
Yeah, I think that sounds fairly accurate. Like, I mean, it is my favorite commander for the whole set.
Yeah, and you totally didn't like go on about it for like 5 minutes last week either. Like I just have no idea how you possibly could have come up with that deck tag. Like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Absolutely. So, well, let's remind our listener what Aurelia does, like, because it's a fairly new card. Aurelia, Exemplar of Justice, is 2 red, white for a 2/5 legendary angel creature with flying, mentor, and at the beginning of combat of your turn, choose up to 1 target creature you control. Until of turn, that creature gains +2/+0, gains trample if it's red, and vigilance if it's white. This is a mentor deck. You want to mentor a lot. We are
Okay, I have a
opening.
question though. What do you think of the other? Like, how does this stack up with the other Aurelia?
Oh, this is a much stronger Aurelia because it comes down a lot quicker, so it fits your aggro plan. That other Aurelia, don't get me wrong, is still strong. Like that other Aurelia can be a combo piece, but this one,
Well, excuse me, but if we were to have these two Aurelia in a fight, I believe that they are equally as powerful. And you want to know why? Because if they fought against each other in combat, they would bounce off each other.
wow.
Yeah. So if my math is right, they're actually equally as powerful. But yeah, continue. Please continue.
Well, well, the thing is, if Aurelia the World Leader attacks twice, it gets blocked by Aurelia the Exemplar of Justice twice, they'll both die.
Yeah. So it's an even match. So they're equally as powerful.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
That's exactly how it works.
Exactly how it works.
Okay. Actually, I disagree because if Exemplar of Justice is attacking and she buffed herself, the World Leader will die.
Ooh.
So I think Exemplar of Justice is better. I think we've decided.
Ooh, no, you're right. Actually, you're right. Wow, my math was wrong. Exemplar of Justice is better. We just confirmed it right here using math.
Yep. But I've broken down the deck into multiple sections, and we're going to talk about them one by one. And the first section we want to talk about, like the first group of cards, are cards that are both mentor targets and enablers. What does that mean? It means the card can both be a great target to be mentored, to be put on +1/+1 counters, but it can also enable your mentor strategy. It helps you either by creating small creatures or it pumps itself.
But
And
can a mentor mentor a mentor?
a mentor can definitely mentor a mentor. I mean, don't
So you're
forget, we
so
are opening a
definitely
school here. So a lot of mentors are
definitely
going on.
it could easily be said that a mentor can mentor a mentor.
A mentor can definitely mentor a mentor, yes.
Right. All right. And I really hope that everybody that hears this is English as their first language, or at least understand that. Oh my god.
Yep.
I love English.
The first card we want to talk about is Goblin Banneret. It's red for 1/1 with mentor. You can pay 1 in a red to give it +2/+0 until end of turn. So we're starting to see a theme here. I mean, it's usually 1/1. So it's perfect if someone puts a +1/+1 counter on it, makes it bigger. But it itself also mentor, right? It also can give something smaller +1/+1 counters. If it is, just by itself, if it's gonna be itself and some other creatures, it can pump itself once or twice, and then now all of a sudden it can mentor something. This is like the perfect creature in this deck.
Yeah, and another mentor creature in this deck is Legion Warboss. We've already talked about Legion Warboss twice now. All right. One extensively and one we kind of mentioned it, and the other one we kind of just like mentioned in like casual passing. But Legion Warboss really it pumps out like goblin tokens every turn, just like Rabble Master. So those are things you can mentor and pump up, and it also has mentor itself. So, I really am actually in love with this card, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It creates mentor targets, and I mean it enables other mentors to allow them to mentor either itself or the 1/1 creatures, or it can just mentor the 1/1 creatures themselves, like itself.
I
It's
would
so
still
good.
reckon that this card is weaker than Rabble Master because It doesn't have that pump that Rebel Master got, but this is still very, very good. And it's actually more powerful in its own way.
Yeah. Next card is very similar. We're kind of seeing the theme here. This is Brawler's Challenger. It also has Mentor and it can pump itself. It's only a 2-drop, so it's extremely aggressive because it's a 2-drop 2/3. It comes down and immediately mentor something. And I want to mention the combo again when these 2 cards are spoiled. If you play turn 2 Brawler's Challenger and turn 3 Legion War Boss, the value is insane. Because you can have Brawler's Challenger Mentor, the 1/1 that Legion War Boss creates on turn 3.
So the deck also plays Leonard War Leader though, and even though it doesn't have Mentor itself, every time it attacks, you get to make 2 1/1 guys, and it passes the vanilla test. It's a 4-mana 4/4. Usually, when you don't get this kind of value without sacrificing some stats or like extra mana, But
right.
No, this is just vanilla statted. Plus, you get that upside.
But the upside perfectly fits our theme because it's pumping up 1/1s that are mentor targets. So it enables the mentor strategy by creating the 1/1s, and it creates the target because those 1/1s now gets big, and they gain you life.
And these 1/1s also have lifelink, and actually, a few random things in this deck just like randomly have lifelink too. Yeah, so it's a 4-mana 4/4 vanilla statted, and it has the upside of making 2 1/1 guys every time it attacks. So it's great for making just a quick board state from nothing.
Right, and we're starting to see a theme here. Like most of these guys are either their pump itself or they create things. And the next thing that creates things is Hasada Marshall. It's just 1-drop 1/1, but it basically has Battalion. But the Battalion happens when it and 2 other creatures attack. And when that happens, you create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. That thing can get mentored and it gets broken really, really fast.
This deck needs Legion Loyalists.
Yeah, I do agree. Wrong format, but if they do reprint Legion Loyalist,
it's going in here. Like slam dunk going in here.
It goes right in here. I don't think it will happen, but
dude, if Legion Loyalist was just like standard legal, imagine if they reprint it. Like that's like the perfect mentor target because that's a card you really want to live.
Oh, absolutely. That's crazy good.
It was like 3. You got 3 things, right? You got First Strike, Vigilance, right?
Yeah.
No, not Vigilance, and then it can't be blocked by creature tokens.
Yep.
Yeah, crazy.
Rock Charger is also a great mentor, enabler, and target. And the reason why I say that is it's 2 and a white for 1/3 that flies. When it attacks, it gives something else without flying. So in situations where your mentors cannot attack because they're gonna die to a blocker, now you can give them flying to allow them to fly with the Rock Charger. And that mentor can now pump the Rock Charger because it's a 1/3 that's easily pumped.
Yeah, this guy's the like the Red Bull recruiter that hands out free Red Bulls because it gives everybody wings.
Yeah, exactly. It gives everyone wings. He is the Red Bull in our not the Boris Reckoner. He's the Red Bull.
Yep. I see what you did there. Ha! I see what you did there.
We also have a lot of good mentor targets, which is the next group of cards we want to talk about. And the first one is actually Jacob's favorite card.
Yeah, this one is Sky Terror. It's a 2-mana 2/2 flying menace. That's it. Now, this is a flying dinosaur, alright? I'm not sure if, historically speaking, that's accurate. I don't think any dinosaurs that were actually classified as dinosaurs flew, but I could be wrong. I'm not an expert in what was it? Taxonomy? Yeah, I'm not an expert in taxonomy. However, this card is really good to mentor because Flying Menace, there are some flyers in the format, obviously, but Flying Menace is nigh unblockable until, basically endgame. So, we all said Invisible Stalker was really good. This is basically Invisible Stalker, but it has the extra point of power, and it doesn't have Hexproof, but, whatever.
Yeah. My only pet peeves with Sky Terror is it's a 2/2, and most of our mentors before turn 4 are 2Xs. So for them to be able to pump Sky Terror It won't happen for a little bit longer. Until Aurelia
Right.
drops or until you play Tajik. Before those things, Sky Terror probably stays a 2/2. The next card though doesn't have that problem. It's also 2-drop, but this time it's just a 1/1. Swiftblade Vindicator has double strike, vigilance, trample on top of being a 1/1, and when it gets pumped, it's unstoppable.
Yeah, I love this guy. If you just like we talked about like suiting up our mentors with that with our artifacts, our equipment, and if your mentor dies and like for whatever reason this is still around, like this is also an excellent target for your pump.
Oh yeah. Like I would definitely not mind paying the
Yeah.
7 to equip Black Bravery Force on Swiftblade Vindicator.
Oh man.
I would not. I'll do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind either. I mean, 7's a little expensive, but I'd do it. Yeah, I would definitely do it.
I mean, like when you can afford to pay 7 mana to equip the thing, that means you have 7
Yeah.
lands already. That means this
Yeah,
is at least an 8/8 with
We
vigilance,
need to
trample,
make-
double strike.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to play 9 for that. The 7/7 enchantment.
Yep. Oh my
Double
gosh.
strike and trample is a killer combo.
That's crazy. Yeah.
All right, but you know what I really like those double strike, trample, death touch. That's my favorite.
Oh my gosh.
We also have Dire Fleet Daredevil. It's a 2-mana 2/1 first strike, and when it enters the battlefield, you basically get to exile an instant sorcery from an opponent's graveyard, not yours, and you can cast that card this turn, and you can spend mana as if for any color to pay for that card. And obviously, when you cast it, if you cast it, it doesn't go to the graveyard; it gets exiled. So this is most of the time just a 2-mana 2/1 first strike, an aggressive 2-drop, but it has an upside if you draw it late, and it's not really the greatest of mental target. Like it's fine, it has first strike. But other than that, and this is just like a good aggressive 2-drop that also has late game value.
Yeah, late game, the car advantage can be great in a Boros deck because when you are out of steam, you are out of steam.
Yeah, and typically with aggressive decks, you're investing a lot of material early to like get your opponent's life total lower. Like
Right.
like we spend burn spells on their face sometimes. I mean, maybe not in this deck, but like often in aggro in burn decks, you're literally spending cards. Like you're not gaining anything back, but you're lowering the life total. So
Yeah. In fact, we have an out of steam plan package in this deck, and this card also belongs there.
oh hey, so they have new art for Sky Knight Legionnaire.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
I
a 2/2 flying haste for 3.
Yeah, for 3. It's decent. It's another flyer, whatever. Flying 2/2. I'm kind of torn between this art and the other art though. I think this art looks kind of better, but I'm not
I
sure.
like this art more. The other art, I don't know. I can see the thing is writing, and like all I can see is the guy's face, and she's not that good looking.
Wow.
Yeah, she's not that good looking. I don't even know if it's a she or is a he. So like the artist needs to
Wow.
put some work into the old art, but this new art I think is better.
Wow.
Cavalry Drill Masters, 1 and a white for 2/1 that gives something +2/+0 and first strike when it comes into the battlefield. Now, the reason why this is here is because there are situations when you're bored, your mentors and the potential mentor targets are just at the same power, and there will be no mentoring happen. Like the school is closed. We don't want the school to ever be closed. So what this card says is, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna pump my mentor, so my mentor can pump the other guy for an extra turn. And then
after that turn, you can definitely say that the student has surpassed the master.
Right. And the new student will be Cavalry Drill Master. It enables your plan. It kind of lengthens it and allow you to continue and keep the school running, right?
Well, actually, I take it back. The student wouldn't have surpassed the master, but the student will become equal to the master after that turn.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know. It would have surpassed, I think,
because like if you have like a 2-power mentor and a 2-power guy, and you pump this guy, now it's a 3. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, the mentor
Yeah, never mind.
would
I'm
be
done.
surpassed.
No. I'm done. I'm tired. Leave me alone. Don't bully me. This is a bully-free zone. Okay.
Okay, the next card we have is actually one of my I love this card. Healer's Hawk is 1 for a 1/1 flying lifelink. It's hard to beat this. Like, this is really, really good in this deck because the moment you pump it, it just starts being unstoppable. It's really hard to stop a 1-drop 1/1 flyer.
Yeah, and we just talked about how good Sky Knight Terror is, but this is like Sky Knight Terror, but like for 1 less mana.
Yeah, it's even more terrible than Sky Knight Terror.
Ha! Good one.
And you know what's motivational though? Goblin Motivator is 1-drop 1/1 as well, but all it has is tap target creature gains haste until end of turn. You can now play your mentors and give them haste, and they can immediately start pumping something. And if you don't play anything that turn, doesn't matter because now you can mentor the Goblin Motivator. They
I
can
actually
mentor
have
the
a problem
Goblin
with this card.
Motivator. What's your
I
problem
actually have a
with this
problem
card?
with this card. My problem with this card is that it's too good.
Why is it too good?
Like, you don't have to pay any mana for the haste effect. I think that's a problem.
Yeah, you do.
Um,
It's cost red. Many
It's
turns
really
ago.
good. No. I mean, like, after you play this card, like, your mana investment is paid for. You know? My problem literally is that it's too good. This card is just so good.
Yeah,
It's
this card is a
dumb.
powerhouse. This card is a powerhouse. I remember in the M19 drafts that I've done a couple of times, but there was one draft where I drafted 4 of these guys, and I have Nicobolas in the same pool.
Oh
So
no.
it's really funny when you can just drop Nicobolas on turn 4 and just start swinging with it immediately. When your opponent can't even respond to it, it feels great. And don't forget
And
what. Yeah.
typically we don't play like the cheap removal. Like, I mean, you can play shock, and I'm sure some decks like play shock and brawl, but I would imagine like most don't. Um. So more often than not, that card is going to eat like a premium removal spell.
Yeah, motivator. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Like, this is in the both the bird territory, and
It's too good.
yeah, ironically,
good.
this is the like one of the non-birds in our deck. There are many birds in our deck, but this is not one of them.
Yeah, I mean,
Goblin
it
Warrior.
allows things to happen a turn sooner than they normally would.
So the next group of cards we want to talk about are the mentor enablers. Like, these are the cards that helps you to keep your school running. Like we have been talking about. You want to keep your school. You want to keep your teachers teaching and your mentors mentoring your students, and you don't want it to stop. Like, the moment you stop is the moment the game turns around for you. Like, so you want to be able to mentor every single turn, and all these cards helps keep your lights on. Light of the Legion is 4 white for a 5/5 angel with flying and mentor. When it dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on each white creatures you control. How many white creatures are in this deck?
I haven't counted, but I'm gonna guess approximately half.
And how
And there are a lot of creatures in this deck.
how many creatures in this deck that generates white tokens?
I don't know. A couple of them generate white tokens.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but the point is that there are a lot of white creatures in this deck. You will have a board sizable enough by the time the Light of the Legion comes down, such
absolutely.
that if they kill Light of the Legion, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, and if they don't kill, it's a 5/5 mentor
With flying.
with flying.
That's important. The flying is important.
Yeah. I think it's quite a good card. The next card is also quite good, but it's kind of on the other side of the spectrum. Short Sword is a 1-drop equipment that gives equipped creature +1/+1. It costs 1 to equip. The reason why this is so good is because, going back to the situation we described, when your mentor and your mentee has the same power, and your school is closed that week, you don't want it to be closed, so you put the sword on your mentor so it can pump the student for 1 more turn.
So if Darksteel Axe were in standard, would you play that instead, or would you play both?
I'll probably play Darksteel Axe instead because it's indestructible.
But it's also +2.
It's also indestructible.
But the downside is that it costs 1 extra mana to equip
That's
over the
true.
short sword.
But like I have
think it's worth.
mentioned,
I think it's worth
I
it.
mentioned, I would probably play the next one, even though it costs 7 to equip. Black Blade Reforged just 2-drop artifact equipment for +1/+1 for each land you control to the equipped creature. Cost 3 to equip to legendary creatures, so Aurelia, Tajik, and potentially a couple others. It depends on how you attack your deck, but usually Aurelia and Tajik are the noteworthy ones. It also costs 7 to equip to non-legendary creatures.
Yeah, so if you're in like a late game situation where you don't have a legendary but you have 7 mana lying around, this is a pretty good card.
This is an insane card.
And +1/+1 for each land you control is actually really important.
It is quite
It's
busted.
yeah, it's huge.
The moment you put this on a mentor creature, now it basically can pump anyone for multiple turns on. And that's something that's scary.
You're powering up the teacher, enabling them to keep mentoring their students for the ages into victory.
Yep. Now, Forging Sergeant is 4 in a red for 4/2 haste and mentor. While the 4/2 is a little bit on the weak side, it is one of the few mentors that has more than 3 power. And it has haste. So the moment it comes down, it can start mentoring your other mentors. So your other mentors can mentor their mentees. I heard you like mentoring, so I put a mentor to mentor your mentor, so you can mentor other mentors.
Those mentors can mentor the mentees.
Exactly.
Wow.
Now,
I dig it.
yeah, it's a good card. If it dies, oh, who cares? It kills something, probably.
Yeah, probably.
It's a 4/2.
4/2 are some pretty good stats.
I do want to point out. I do want to point out that at least in the Ravnica set environment, most of the things top up at 4 toughness. There are some exceptions, but most things top up at 4 toughness. And I do want to point out the 16/16 is out of the set of topping out 4 toughness. But anyways, I digress. Next card, it also belongs in the next category we want to talk about, but Tajik Legion's Edge. Tajik Legion's Edge, most of us already know what he does. He is basically a protection spell that prevents burns and fights to happen to our creatures. For a 3 mana, 3/2 with haste and mentor, he's quite good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad. And he slices perfectly into the next category, which is protection.
Can I, once again, I know I've already said this before, but this guy seriously, his face looks like Snoop Dogg. Like, if you like kind of like look at it from afar, it looks like Magic the Gathering, like your normal, like kind of cool, medievally kind of art, and then someone photoshopped the face of Snoop Dogg onto this card. That's what it looks like.
Damn.
Like, it just looks so far removed from the rest of the card art.
Damn.
You know?
Damn, son.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. But he's also, as you said, doubles his protection, and
Exactly.
we have another card that does something similar, right?
Well, not similar, but it also protects other creatures. Well, one other creature, exactly. Dauntless Bodyguard is just a 1-drop 2/1 Human Knight, and when it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature. When it enters the battlefield, you choose another creature you control, and you can sack Dauntless Bodyguard to give the chosen creature indestructible until end of turn. So, 2/1, it can get mentored pretty easily by those 3x's or 4x's. But the most important part is it provides protection to, for example, Aurelia. Someone who you really don't want to die.
Remember to always use protection, though.
Absolutely, kids. The next category we have is the plan for when you're out of Steam, and we have 4 cards within this category. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jacob.
Oh. Yeah, so one of these cards, Rekindling Phoenix, you may have heard of it already, but it's a 4-mana 4/3 flyer. When it dies, you get to make a 0/1 elemental creature token, basically like an egg, but it's not really an egg. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if that egg is still around, I call it an egg because that's the whole flavor thing of this. If the token is still around, you get to sacrifice it, and then you get to get the Rekindling back from the graveyard to the battlefield. So, and also gets haste if you do this. So this guy is going to get in for a ton of damage, and he's really hard to remove.
It's also really hard to mentor, but who cares? It helps you when you are in the last couple of turns when you really need to close out, and this is one of the things that helps you close the game out. It also really looks like an owl more than a phoenix.
You know, it does. It looks like it looks like an owl, but on fire.
A fiery owl.
A fiery owl.
The next card we have is what?
Isn't that like the name of a band, like Fire Owl or something?
Fire owl? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Something with an owl. Anyways,
the next card we have is Bishop of Rebirth. 3 white for a 3/4. Vampire Cleric with Vigilance. Whenever it attacks, you may return target creature card with confirmed mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Do you know
this
how?
Is some insane value with
almost every single freaking card in our deck are 3 or less.
This is going to be some insane value with Dire Fleet Daredevil.
Oh yeah.
Because, like, okay, so you can, like, Dire Fleet Daredevil, or you can Bishop of Rebirth trigger, get Dire Fleet Daredevil back, right?
Yep.
And then you can get it killed off somehow, and you just get it back again.
Exactly. It needs to live, but it's probably not difficult to pull off. You do have Donna's Bodyguard and Tajik out, and with Aurelia and the different mentors with greater than 3 power, it can pump itself to a really respectable body that can pass the vanilla test of a 5-drop.
And a lot of cards in this deck are like, they're all capable of doing very strong things on their own, or maybe with like just a little bit of help. And it's like the Doomblade argument. You don't like not playing Tarmogoyf because it dies to Doomblade. Like that just means you play more Tarmogoyfs.
Yeah. Yeah, and exactly right. That's all what mentoring is about. Is you want to give them a little push so that they can enter society and become good human beings. What are we talking about?
I do know what you're talking about, and it's actually kind of weird because we have a mentor in this deck, but it doesn't mentor.
Yeah, this is one of the mentors that don't mentor. Mentor of the Meek is 2 and a white for 2/2. And whenever another creature of power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1, and if you do, you draw a card. And
hey,
dude, what's cool?
What's cool? So if you have Rekindling Phoenix out and it dies, you make a 1/1 token.
Oh
you get to draw a card from the mentor of the Meek.
That's quite a combo.
But yeah, this is weird. I don't know what else they could have called it. I think mentor was probably the best like keyword name they could have given to the mechanic.
I mean,
maybe there might be a better one, but unintentional clash with mentor the Meek and the mentor mechanic.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
mean, we already talked about Dire Fleet Daredevil, which also belongs in this category. So we'll move on to Disruption. What are Disruption, Jacob? What does that mean?
I'm not sure. Maybe you should tell me.
Oh, Disruption means that you're trying to stop your opponent from doing things that they want to do. You're trying to disrupt their plans. You're playing cards to slow them down so that you can get under. And one of the Disruption cards is Swath Cutter Giant, which is 4 red white for 5/5 Vigilance. When it attacks, it deals 1 damage to each creature defending player controls. There are so many token decks out there that makes 1/1s.
And with all the pump that we're giving to our creatures, the extra 1 damage is surprisingly relevant even against non-token decks.
Yeah. Also, it's a 5/5, and like we said, most things top up at 4. So being a 5/5 is probably most of the time going to be the biggest thing on the board.
Which is actually a little surprising for a red-white deck. Usually green has like the big fatties.
Yeah. What's the next card?
Well, actually, I'm a big fan of 2-mana 2/1 flyers. I am. I think a lot of people undervalue 2-mana 2/1 flyers because they come down early and they can do a lot of damage before they have to get answered. And this guy is a 2-mana 2/1 flyer, called Remorseful Cleric. And he also has the upside though. You can sack him, and you can exile all cards from the graveyard. Any player.
There
So
are way too many graveyard decks in our format right now. In Brawl, Modrotha, and there are the Demir decks that surveils. There are the Izzet decks that put sorceries and instants into the graveyard to jumpstart. And there are the Undergrowth decks in Golgari. This shuts them all down. Hi.
hi.
Okay, I thought you cut off already. This
No.
shuts them all
And
down.
you have to be careful not to get Remorseful Cleric yourself. We don't really have a lot of graveyard synergies, but I mean, your Rekindling Phoenix might get Cleric. You never know.
Yeah. Also, if you can bring back your Remorseful Cleric with Bishop of Rebirth, please do so.
Oh man, that'd be so good.
Another really good target for Bishop of Rebirth is Bounty Agent, which is 1 and a white for a 2/2 Vigilance Human Soldier, where you can tap and sack to destroy target legendary permanent as an artifact, creature, or enchantment. What is the common theme in our format that every deck has?
Land.
Of that. And most of them are legendary creatures. Like those, let's forget those
When you
people who run
ask- yeah, I mean,
planeswalkers.
I realize that the context of the question implying an artifact, creature, enchantment, but land isn't technically incorrect.
No, it's not. And I do want to point out that it is possible to run a deck with no lands. Did
It
you
is
know the deck
possible.
called Oost All Spells?
I do.
Yeah, I play that deck.
Did you like it?
I like that. It's
Yeah,
great.
I actually really like Charbelcher,
Your browser is great. Yeah, Oops All Spells.
but it plays 1 land.
No, it doesn't play lands. It plays Spirit Guides.
No, Charbelcher.
Are we talking about the same deck? Oh, you're
Charbelcher?
playing with Charbelcher the deck. That's 1 land. I'm talking about the no land variant.
Yeah. So, Unsalt Spells is a really cool deck too, though.
Yeah, Charbelcher is fine.
I think you're fine.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about Bounty Agent. So Bounty Agent is also a really good guy to get back from a Remorseful Cleric. So if you had the Motivator out, you can get back Bounty Agent, give it haste, sack it, and then blow up someone's commander, and then do it again next turn.
That sounds so broken though. Probably not as broken as Rampaging for Ocedon. It's 2 and a white for a 3/3 menace, and players can't gain life. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to the creature's controller. So this is doing multiple things. It disrupts the token deck, number 1. Like the deck that wants to pump out 1 million creatures can't anymore.
They're gonna take a lot of life for that.
They're gonna pay a lot of life for that. And those decks, like the Celestia deck, for example, usually is the deck that wants to gain life. So this card shuts down that strategy really, really hard. It's also a 3/3 menace.
I mean, a lot of people think oh, it's only vanilla static. It's not constructed playable. That's not true. A lot of vanilla static creatures are good.
Yeah.
And this guy has a huge upside. Menace is really great for evasion, which is always relevant. And then the can't gain life clause is also equally important.
Yep. and it can get trampled from Aurelia. So why not?
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. And you know what else I like?
What else you like?
I like Justice Strike.
Justice Strike is a good card. It's
Yeah,
too.
it's a 2-minute instant, and target creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. So, I feel like a lot of creatures in this set, and just in this format overall, they all have more power than toughness. That's not always true. There are a ton of guys with big butts. Not always
Yeah.
true. But a lot of the time, this is gonna straight up just be like 2 mana,
Yeah,
like kill
and
anything.
in the very niche scenario, like it can also be a gap closer, and this is when your opponent is at 4 life, and then you have a True Fire Captain now. You just cast Justice
Oh
Strike on True
no!
Fire Captain.
Oh
So yeah,
no!
it'll deal 4 to itself, but it also
But
redirects to the 4
what if
health
you
guy.
have the Black Blade Reforged on it?
Oh my gosh,
Oh man.
you have broken the game. Speaking of gap closers, the last category we have are the gap closers. Legion Guildmage is a 2-mana 2/2 that does things. It can
What kind
either
of things?
deal 3 damage to each opponent for some mana, or it can tap another target creature for some mana. Both of them does exactly what the deck wants. It wants to deal damage to your opponent, or it can tap down blockers.
And for whatever reason, for whatever unfortunate reason, you're still in the late game and this guy is around, and you still have 3 opponents. 6 mana for 9 damage is a great rate.
Oh, it's great, yeah.
And speaking of closers, we're also playing Chance for Glory. You have to use this carefully. It's really powerful, but you know, you can't just like go around waving your Chance for Glory and be like, "I'm gonna kill you!" Ha 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 ha. Yeah, it's not gonna work out too well. This requires like impeccable timing. You know, you can't just like fling this off willy nilly because, in case you haven't heard, we've talked about this card very extensively. 3-mana instant creatures you control get indestructible turn to turn, and you get to take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that extra turn's end step, you lose the game. So because of that ending clause of you losing the game at the end of that extra turn, this is literally like the alpha strike, like go big or go home. Because if you do not win the game, you literally lose the game. Not like effectively lose the game. You literally lose the game.
Exactly. Yeah, you definitely don't want to lose the game because you're trying to win the game. What are we talking about?
We're talking about Inescapable Blaze.
It is 6 mana for 6 damage to any target that can't be countered. That's really strong.
And it is pretty strong. In fact, it's the same. It's a better rate than Banefire. You know, because for 6 mana or for 6 damage on Banefire, it's pay 7 mana. But there is an upside to Banefire though that this card doesn't have.
It's
Actually, there are 2 of them.
more first.
Well, the upside to Banefire is that it's more flexible. You're not locked into paying 6 mana.
Yeah.
You know, you pay less. But also, Banefire also has the clause that the damage can't be prevented.
That's true. But who cares when you already have the dinosaur?
Yeah, not
out?
super. It's not usually super relevant though. No.
Yeah. This card we have is Repeating Barrage. It's 3 mana, deal 3 to any target creature or player. But you can also have, it has Raid, where it allows you to pay 5 to bring it back from the graveyard to your hand if you have attacked this turn. What does this deck want to do other than keeping your school open? Well, to keep your school open, you need to be attacking a lot. And this card, it slots perfectly into that plan because you want to be attacking anyways. Why not just have a repeatable damage source in your hand? Next up, we have Heroic Reinforcement. It's 4 mana for sorcery that says create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Until of turn, creatures you control gets +1/+1 and gain haste. That's crazy. Number one, it makes 2 mentor targets for you. So immediately allows you, it creates new students for your school so you can keep your lights on. And number 2,
2 new students.
Yeah, your new teachers now comes in with haste. You don't even need the motivators there to motivate them. All you do is you play your mentor and then, oh, Heroic Reinforcement. Now everything has haste, including your mentors.
Yeah, this is a great like surprise attack. Like, oh, you know, he only has like a couple creatures out, and then you go like Heroic Reinforcements and maybe like a 2-drop or something. And like, oh, I'm actually killing you like this turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is great. Saving the best for last. The last card we have is Response and Resurgence. We have talked about this card a lot. Response is 2 mana, deal 5 to an attacking or blocking creature. It's a great rate. 5 mana kills basically like most things in this format. So amazing. Resurgence though, 5 mana and gives creatures you control first strike, vigilance until of turn. After the main phase, there is an additional combat followed by an additional main phase. So this is giving you the old Aurelia's rules text, basically.
Yep.
And
for 1 less mana.
for 1 less mana.
Although you don't get a 3/4 flying case guy. No.
No, you don't. But who cares?
And also one thing I'd like to note on Response though is in a multiplayer game, you don't have to wait for your turn when it's attacking. Like if someone else is attacking a creature that you want dead that you're gonna cast Response on anyways, you can just do it on their turn. And like you go to your turn and not have to deal with the blocker at all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a great card in general. So
And yeah, it's a great card. I
Yeah.
love how flexible it is, but it also still has that bite. It doesn't sacrifice the bite for the flexibility.
So yeah, I think that's it for the deck. I mean, that's most of the cards that we want to talk about anyways. Deck list will be posted in the show notes, so go check it out. If you check it out and if you like it or if you dislike it, let us know. You can always find us on social media, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Brawling Pit. You can email us at brawlingpitmtg@gmail.com. You can find us on Reddit at r/brawlingpit, or you can always visit our official website at brawlingpit.com. I've been one of your hosts, Johnathan, and he's been Jacob. See you guys next week, Brawlers. So, Jacob,
What's up, man?
how do you like the Magic Arena meta so far?
I hate it.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just trying to be like the mindless people that say Sandom sucks all the time.
Well, I don't know. Like, I found an interesting deck that I like playing, and is it 8 Drakes? It plays Is it Drakes? The 2
That
Drakes.
sounds dumb.
So, there's 2 key cards. The number 1 key card is the Enigma Drake, which is 1 blue red for a star 4 flying, and it has power equal to the number of instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard. But it also has
exile.
Crackling Drake. No, not exile, just graveyard.
Oh.
Crackling Drake is blue, red for a star 4 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, and its power is equal to total number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard and exile this time. So
that's what I was thinking of.
yeah, so the deck basically runs these 8 creatures. It also runs 4 Goblin Electromancer, and then just a crap ton of instant and sorceries. And I'm seeing some success with it.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. You know what deck it doesn't beat?
What?
The Turbo Fog Nexus of Fate deck.
Well, that deck doesn't count.
It's actually really demoralizing when they're
It's cheating.
when they're card
The deck is cheating.
when they're card
It's cheating.
dude. Like today, I ran into 2 Nexus of Fate decks, and their Karn flips. They do their plus thing with their Karn, and the 2 cards they show me is 1 Fog and a different Fog. I'm just like, fuck you.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yep.
No.
But anyways, if you haven't tried out MTG Arena yet, go ahead and give it a try. It's actually quite fun, and you get free decks given to you by Wizards of the Coast. As
And
a new
surprisingly,
player.
they got the UI decent.
No, it's great, and it's actually really convenient to draft. Like you just sit down, and there's no time limit or anything. You don't need to wait for 8 people. You're drafting against AIs, and you're playing that finalized deck with like random people. So it's great. It's very convenient.
Now, if only they had done this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you know, here's the sad thing. This game isn't like super technologically demanding either. It could have been done 10 years ago.
It could probably have done 10 years ago, but Wizards is not a software company.
They outsourced this game too, you know.
Wizards is not a software company.
Wizards is not a company.
I didn't say that.
I am. It feels like that sometimes.